So while I wasn't at home, the alt rank panel released the newest official tier list, and I say that in quotes because, again, if you're unaware, the tier list is basically just, hey, this is all of the good players, like the top 150 for the year-round rankings, the half-year rankings. They get a chance to vote 1 to 10 on what the characters are the strongest. Like 1 is the weakest characters, 10 are the strongest characters, and then it averages out. I believe there are about 73 of the about 150 people asked completed it, varying from North America, Latin America, Europe, and Japan. And let's look at the tier list and see what we feel about it, because I feel like I'm a little bit of a tier list guy, so I think me critiquing it is valid. So here is the tier list. I don't know if I'm gonna go top to bottom or bottom to top or just talk about things. I will also at some point in this video talk about like the differences between the regions and like rising and stuff like that, or like what regions value what characters more. But I mean, they might come up as it goes. But first off, I guess let's talk about the bottom tier. Ganon still sits at the bottom. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case the next time a tier list like this happens, because Shindaline's been going incredibly crazy and has had the best results of like any low tier character in a while. I mean, I feel like it's the best result until you get to like Ike or K. Rool. I don't think a villager, D2D, Little Mac, or I mean, there was the Little Mac that just beat Mia, but like I don't think did very well in the tournament. And Shindalion like almost got top 8 at a major, which is insane with the worst character in the game. Literally been the worst character in the game forever, but I don't think that's going to happen. The Belmonts are down here at bottom 3. Everyone also knows Little Mac is bad, but the Belmonts are here at bottom 3 because apparently he's rated as the worst character in Japan by far. Like the most panelists in Japan put him at like the worst character in the game. I don't exactly know why. I think the Belmonts are like decent. Like they're not good, but like it's hard to see them as like bottom 1. I could see bottom 3. I can see bottom 5. I could maybe even see bottom 2, but I feel like bottom 1 is crazy when Ganondorf and like Marth and Little Mac exist at the very least. Also King Dedede is pretty bad. The fact that K. Rool's down here, honestly, to go into the D tier is crazy. I think that character's pretty good. Like he's not great, obviously. Like a lot of characters in this game are good, but I think K. Rool is better than like Kirby. I'm not saying he's better than every character until Kirby, but like there are a lot of characters that have worse results that I feel like are worse characters, and like K. Rool has his flaws, of course, but you know, whatever. I also think Ike sucks. I think Ike is bottom 5. I think he's worse than Dedede. I mean, I guess Dedede is Ike but worse. But like, has Gordo? I don't know. I don't think there are any Ikes that are putting in work. I guess RM8 did beat MKLeo this past year, which is still crazy that happened. You know, there are some individual results, but like Tora is doing, like she's good in Japan, but she's not like crazy. But I guess maybe enough eyes are like on Ike as a character to maybe put him not, I mean, bottom 7 is still really bad in this game. Obviously, the thing that I think is the most egregious in terms of this D tier is Mii Sword Fighter. Obviously, I know that not a lot of people are playing Mii Sword Fighter at a super, super high level, but there's been like enough, right? Susu has used that character to get top 8 at majors over in Europe. I know there are many of Japanese, like, well-known players that are picking up Mii Sword Fighter as a secondary, whether it's because of all the Ramble stuff or just like, maybe sword characters are good. Like, I think Mii Sword Fighter is, like, infinitely better than Marth and Ike, and even, like, Link and Chrom, who are above him. I think Sword Fighter's obviously incredible. I was not a panelist this year because I didn't go to anything in 2025, so I didn't have a ballot here. But I think Sword Fighter is, like, top. Like, he's like the top of B+ tier, low part of A tier is like my opinion. I think that character is genuinely ridiculous, like top 30, top 25. He's really, really good. And, you know, ESAM opinions are a thing, but I think the rest of the low tier makes sense. I think Mewtwo being down here is fair because no one plays him except for Anvil. And like Suzune sometimes in Japan does okay. Zelda, I'm glad Zelda's a little bit higher because I feel like the Zeldas have been doing pretty decent. Obviously, Free K-Flock over in the States has been pretty good, almost got ranked top 100. And then you have Wine from Japan. I don't think there's a Zelda in Europe. I could be wrong about that, but not one that I can think of. You know, Doc, I feel like, is better than this. Marth is worse than where he is, in my opinion. I think Marth sucks. But Riziasu plays him sometimes, and Leo plays him when he wants to, so it's fine. C tier, I think all these characters make sense. I'm honestly a little bit surprised at how high Ridley is, and I'm kind of surprised, I guess, that Sephiroth isn't down in this tier. Because these are the characters that, like, sometimes they do okay. We have Banjo with Toriguri, we have Bowser Jr. with the plethora of Bowser Jr.'s that exist in the States, like Zap and Mr. Thugs, I think it is, from I don't remember if he's Connecticut or New York or something like that. There are more that I can't think of at the moment. Obviously, Lucario has Gachapy, and there's Base Mage, and there's Lax, and there's Glutos Link, and there's Bowser sometimes. Bowser's not a very common character, especially in 2025. Incineroar obviously had a huge drop-off because the best player of him is banned, so I really can't think of any good result that Incineroar has had since that. But Ridley does well both in Europe and then also in Latin America with Nair. He's really good. I actually don't know what his results are recently, but I know Nair is good, so I'm sure that the people that have had to play against Nair respect that. Lucas is down here as a potential man. Robin with Leaf. I think this is like pretty high for the character. I think Robin was considered a lot worse than this. Leaf is really, really, really good. I think got top 50, which is crazy. Isabelle is obviously a lot higher than Villager. We see Villager in the bottom 4, and then Isabelle at the very top of C+ tier, almost in B tier, because we have players like Furaramen do really well with the character. There's just like a lot of Japanese Isabelles, and even kept the person who was like a Villager main statically for a long time is mostly an Isabelle player, and then goes Villager in specific matchups where like Villager's a little bit better because like Bowling Ball is better or Tree is more important, but mostly Isabelle way better because of the close quarter combat tools. So it's crazy to see, honestly, I'm counting it right now, like a 25 character gap. That's even bigger than like my gaps with like Marth and Lucina that people get mad at me for. So that's honestly crazy. B tier I think also makes sense. Duck Hunt being this high makes sense because we have Zog, we have Jacobata. You know, I know there's a couple in Latin America. I don't know how much, like, I don't know if they're just like online only players, but I fought a couple of the Latin American Duck Hunts and they're like pretty good. I think there's also a couple more Duck Hunts in like the US, but you know, none to the level of Zog and Jacobata, who are like genuinely incredible. Sephiroth, honestly, this is the one character, I think I said it before, I'm surprised he's up here because I feel like Sephiroth doesn't really have results or players that play him. I don't know if Ken still plays Sephiroth. Tweak doesn't really play Sephiroth anymore. So I don't know why he's this high, genuinely, but that's fine. Meta Knight obviously has some pretty good results sometimes. Byleth is, you know, Riziasu's, I would say, actual main, and Riziasu is incredible. Also, you still have everyone going like, but Leo was the best player in the world with this character, so clearly he can't be that bad. Sheik honestly deserves to be lower than this. I think that character's ass. Ness deserves to be higher than this, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of good Ness results. I mean, Pika Chris almost got top 100. We have Syrup co-main. Like, Syrup has got a ton of wins with just Ness, literally beats Spargo with just Ness. Inkling being up here makes sense. I know that for a while Inkling was lower, but Shidayuki's been doing incredibly well with Inkling. Pichu, again, being this high, I think makes sense. I think for a while people thought he was lower, but of course you have the European ones of Dryby and Nador Yu. So those two, of course, are really good, but none compared to Yone P in Japan, who's got top 8 at a major, beat Mia in what seems like a -2 or -3 matchup. Icelammers has had kind of a resurgence in Japan. DK's had a resurgence in Japan. Rosa, I mean, people respect Rosa a lot, and also, again, been doing pretty well in Japan, especially with Ocha and Yama D, I believe it is. Pit, of course, Zachary. I think this character is honestly better. I think this character is better than, like, Greninja, but relatively okay. I mean, 10 spots in a tier list this big when you're kind of in the middle is, like, pretty fair. The links being right next to each other is very funny. Pac-Man being down here makes sense. Zero Suit sucks, so that's fair. Ken is the worst FGC character. Lucina isn't good enough. PT's not good enough. And Terry, honestly, I thought Terry would be a little higher, but the results of, obviously, Ryu and Kazuya, I guess, are more. I mean, Ryu's been going crazy. I know Jazo has picked up Ryu mostly instead of Ken. You obviously have Oshimo, who's like top 10 in the world with Ryu. Terry's mostly Riddles, and Riddles wasn't competing for part of this year. And then you also have, sorry, the one I was thinking about from Japan is EZS or Aegis, I think was his old tag. So, you know, has had good results, but at this point, like, A tier is like, oh, these players are like winning majors. These characters are winning majors, or like pretty close to it. We have Falcon up here. Again, I've been saying Falcon's good for forever, so I'm glad I'm finally getting vindicated. This character is good. He just kills you. Falco just kills you. Corrin, you have Shattuck. And even though Shattuck hasn't been doing super well, I think people are still reeling from how good Shattuck was in 2024. Like, I mean, for a while I was putting Corrin in top 10, which I think I probably wouldn't put her in top 10, maybe like top 15, but, you know, that was always my opinion. Ryu, of course, again, up here. Cloud actually getting lower because Spargo wasn't the #1 player in the world. That was Doramegi, which is why you'll see Min Min super high, which we'll talk about later. Sora being up here. Sora's really popular in Japan, especially as secondaries for like Aka and Lax. So decent results even with Kamame not being there. Character's really good. Mega Man being super good because of Peebnut. That's it. Peanut is so good. Brawler's getting really popular everywhere, and he's broken. Wolf, honestly, I'm kind of surprised stayed up here. I feel like there's not a lot of Wolf representation in Japan at the very least, and I know there's Orion in Europe if he still plays. I don't even honestly know. But of course, in the US, there are a few Wolf players. We have Danny, we have Jackal, and Jackal's putting up a hell of a season right now, actually. He's been really, really impressive. Mario's like, and then at this point, you get like all the broken characters, right? Mario's obviously crazy good. Bayo's obviously crazy good. Hero has gone up a lot. I mean, there are a couple of Hero major wins in 2025 with Beast Mode Paul, and I believe Akka also won a major. Yeah, I don't know how much Sora was part of that major, but like Hero's obviously a really good character. There's also the Hero, I forget, from Japan who hasn't won a major, but he's gotten top 8 at majors a couple times. There's a lot of Hero reps. Roy is broken, duh. And then honestly, 2 characters I'm a little surprised are this high. I guess one of them that I'm really surprised at, which is Wario. Wario I feel like hasn't had as much representation, and Gluto I feel like had a relatively weak year last year. Obviously the character's still really good, but I just am a little surprised at how high he was. Olimar is broken in Japan. There's still not really a lot of Olimars in the US. I know we have, like, DeBuzz doesn't really play, and then there's also like Sean in New York, S-H-O-N, but I don't think he travels, but like I think he's really good. And then we have some other really good characters, right? Pikachu being down here again. Japan hates Pikachu, and you know, Shiny Mark is the only Pikachu with results until Kagaribi with Yuzu, which again I will cover. Yuza, not Yuzu. Pikachu, still good. Still really, really good. Palutena, Louis Money's been doing crazy good. There are still a couple Palus in Japan. There's a couple Palus in Europe with Rafflo, but it's mostly Louis Money. He's honestly the first like quarter 2025 had like ridiculous runs, and I feel like it's maybe like slightly slowed down, but not really like that much. Like when Louis Money goes to tournaments, he still does really well. Samus is broken, and here really dominant in Europe with Siski, also Reflo secondary, and also Yauda just won a major Samus just won a major for the first time. Characters really good. And then we get to the top tier, right? The top, I believe it is 14 characters. Joker is Leo and is a very good character. Fox has a lot of results. Yoshi, I see people complain about Yoshi all the time. I don't understand the Yoshi down players. This character has been a relevant meta threat literally like since 2021 at the very least, with Yoshidora's rising. But even before that, there was Suarez in New York, Raptor in New York. Now there is also Pharaoh. I forget if Pharaoh's New York or New Jersey, but like there's always been Yoshis everywhere. There's like Firefly. I don't know if there are any good ones in Europe. I can't think of any at the moment. But, you know, in Japan, he's always been crazy. And obviously, as Japan is like, you know, has pulled away from the rest of the world in terms of how much better overall the scene in Japan is, Yoshi being so dominant in Japan for so long, even if he's not like winning a bunch of majors, but just like is constantly like, oh, there's 2 Yoshis in top 8 for some reason. Character's really good, and I don't know why people complain about it. Peach is up here. Luigi, obviously, with the year of 2024 and 2025, like Luigi was starting to become like, oh, it's a problem in 2024, and then 2025, I believe 3 different Luigis got top 8 at like super duper majors. Raru was like top 6 or 7 in the world, I think. You had Luigi do really well at like Genesis. You had Kiarash. He's insane. And then there's a couple of other Luigis in Japan as well. They're just not Raru, so yeah. Aegis is down here, a little bit of a demotion, but that makes sense. I mean, she's so exploitable, and in this game it's really bad to be exploitable if you're not literally killing people in one hit like Luigi is. So like it's scary, right? Aegis results are largely off of Shutone, who plays them a lot, and then also you have like Leo and Spargo still playing the character, so that's really, really good. I don't think there's a good Aegis in Europe, actually. I can't think of one, but yeah, just really dominant from Leo, Spargo, and Shutone, which is like, those are really good players. They're all ridiculous. I think Shutone's in the top 10 of this year, so yeah. Diddy Kong also up here, which to me still blows my mind. I don't think Diddy's that good. It's probably the character I disagree with being top tier the most up here, because like even though I in theory think Kazuya is not that great, he kills people, so it's fine. And Min Min, even though I used to think she was bad, Dora Migi just revolutionized everything, right? She's outside the top 5 of like the most dominant characters with a lot of player bases, because Min Min is really like a character like Pikachu, where it's like, hey, there is one good one and then a couple of other fine ones. But Min Min is just ridiculous. Dora Migi being the #1 player in the world, huge help. The showing what the character could do, like I feel like shifted the perspective on what the character used to be. And then you have the Titans, right? Rob, Game & Watch, Snake, Sonic, Steve. I don't think Snake is top 3. I think Snake is maybe top 10. But Hurt is insane. Game & Watch has Mia and Monty and Meister. And I think Reflo also plays Game & Watch in Europe. So there's a lot of Game & Watch representation, and they're all like top 50, and they're all really good. Sonic, of course, is ridiculous, and Steve is Steve, right? So that makes sense. I think the top tier, like, I think honestly, overall, this tier list makes a lot of sense. I really only have gripes with like 5 or 6 characters out of 80, which is ridiculous. And even then, like, my gripes are just like, well, yeah, well, I understand that people think Sword Fighter is bad. I think he's really good. I think Sephiroth sucks, but I can understand why people think he's okay. So, like, they're all logical. I think this is a very logical tier list if you look at it, and there's not a huge amount of obvious problems. It just comes into whatever your personal biases are of like, oh, I think this character is really good because I play them, or I have to deal with this character all the time and I hate them, so therefore they must be better, or like, I think this, like, I play this character and they suck, therefore they should be lower. That's about it. I feel like overall the tier list is really good. But to go into like what regions thought which character was good, this is just like the article from AltRank. I didn't pull any of this data myself. The US and Canada were high on Mega Man, which makes sense because Peanut is here. Duck Hunt, which makes sense because Zog is here, and Jagabata had one of his biggest majors at Port Priority last year. Pac-Man is kind of a surprise. I feel like there's not a lot of Pac-Mans here. I feel like T by far is the best one. I think Sinji does fine. I don't know why Pac-Man is so big in our region. Which is very funny because Pac-Man's really low in Japan in terms of like general opinion, but T lives in Japan, so I don't 100% know. That one doesn't make sense. In Sin, I think we're all still scared of SkyJ, basically, because he did so well for like a long time. But the US and Canada really thought like Pichu was bad because there's not a lot of good Pichus in the States. Falcon, because Fatality just came back. Like, we don't have to deal with Karaage or Jogibu, so, you know, that's fine. I get it. Low on Wario because there's not a lot of good Warios in the States, and low on Olimar because mostly Dabuz, when Dabuz plays, he plays Rosa, and we don't have to deal with Shuton that often. I feel like when Shuton comes to the States, he plays Aegis for the most part, which is weird. Latin America is high on Bowser Jr. I don't understand that one. Zap is not from Latin America. Pac-Man is super high, which again, I don't know if there are any good Pac-Mans in Mexico or like any like Guatemala or Chile or anything like that. So I could be wrong. I just don't know. High on Pikachu because Shiny Mark's from there, and you know, Shiny Mark is really, really good. High on Mega Man again because Peanut is still close. Sheik is really popular, actually. I know in Mexico and other Latin American countries. I know Rox plays Sheik and is very good. I know Mr. R, I think, is in Mexico currently. So like, I don't know how often he goes to tournaments and stuff, but I know that, you know, he would influence the culture. And Crom, I think also because of Mr. R, maybe. But then lower on Isabelle, Olimar, and Bayonetta because I don't think there are any there. Europe was high on Mega Man, which again, that's a little bit of a surprise because I know there used to be good Mega Man players in Europe, but I don't remember if they exist anymore. Mewtwo because that's where the best Mewtwo in the world, Anvil, is. And Cloud because everyone in Europe really respects Spargo. Lower on Captain Falcon because there's no Falcons in Europe. Byleth because I don't think there are any Byleths in Europe, even if they respect Leo a lot. There's no Ices in Europe either, as far as I remember, and of course Robin, there's just one good Robin, so that's going to be in Japan. So Japan was high on Ice Climbers. There's been a ton of Ice Climbers players in Japan recently. We have Saya super recently do very, very well, but there's of course what's his tag? It's a really long tag. Futari no Kiwami A is also, like, Ice Climbers just do really well in Japan overall. Saya was just the most recent one. Captain Falcon, of course, again, as I mentioned, Jogibu and Karaage, just ridiculous. This character won a major in Japan for the first time ever in Smash Ultimate, I guess. Sora, because there's a bunch of Sora secondaries. Donkey Kong, because there's like 6 top Donkey Kongs there. Lucario, because they have Gachipi, right? Low on Pikachu, because they hate Pikachu and they hate me and they want me to die. Terry, because there's the one good Terry in Japan, but I think they're just like, they're really high on Kazuya over, like, especially comparatively. I know they don't talk about it here because it's like plus 14, plus 9, and I know a lot of people in the States and Europe say like, oh, Kazuya is still top, 10, top 7, but like a lot of people in Japan think Kazuya is like Steve levels of broken. I understand that if you had that perspective on Kazuya, that your opinion on the other, especially the less result fighting game character of Terry, is going to be lower. PT, because all the PTs quit everywhere, but I know that in the US we're still like, but Tweak's Pokemon trainer. They're low on Mega Man because there are no Mega Man players in Japan at the moment. Kamame plays only Sora when he does play. There's not really other good Mega Man players. Pac-Man, this again is surprising because T's really good, but also I think people are like, well, T does well when he plays Kazuya. And Me Gunner, this is a random call out. You didn't need to do Me Gunner like this. That's fine. I mean, Me Gunner, honestly, I'm kind of surprised wasn't a little bit higher in places like US and Canada because of Lammers, who's had a really, really good 2025, honestly. Great player. But yeah, this is, I mean, the tier list, I think overall makes sense. I think these varieties make sense because of where the characters are or who they respect. Again, Bowser Jr. is a little crazy. Plus 17 is insane. I don't know if like Spargo and Leo just have to play Zap so often and they're just like, man, screw this guy. But yeah, that is it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, social media and partner stuff is down below. I want to be focusing on lessons as well. So if you are interested in a lesson, please DM me on Instagram or, email me or something like that. I'm always open. Or go to the Metafy. It'll be up here. It's been on the page. I put Metafy on the page on the videos every time I upload a video. Yeah, thank you all for for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.